A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it, between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries, plus napkins, plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
Today is the day you will lose fat. Come see Dr. T at NJ Diet.
Easiest diet I've ever done. It's changed my life. Come see Dr. T.
Using blood work and DNA testing. 1-855-5NJ-DIET and NJDiet.com. Change your life in only 40 days with NJ Diet.
Smith & Wesson, Alpha Raw, Black Star, De La Soul, Eminem, Flip Mode Squad, M.O.P., O.C., Royce the 5'9", Razkaz, Diamond D, Pete Rock, Talib Kweli, Freddie Fox, Jean Grey, and Naughty by Nature. Just some of the artists my next guest has worked with. He's Evil Dee from the legendary producing team, the Beatminez, and I want to welcome him to Library with Tim Einenkel. Thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, thanks for having me here, you know what I'm saying?
But if they stayed the course, do you think they could have also... I mean, like Duck Down, I mean, I guess as I say this question, I think I know the answer, but could they have kept the same lyrical content that they were doing until now? But
you know what you do? Do like a Duck Down did. Duck Down, they have their legacy artists, the art like the Black Moons and Helter Skelter, Garrison Dead, Sean Price, Buckshot, they have all the legacy artists. At the same time, they have DDD, which is their marketing and distribution company. And that's where they have Young M.A. and other people like Talib Kweli. You know what I'm saying? Like what they do is DDD is where they make their money. Right. So they could put money into the other stuff that they're doing. Like a Black Moon album, let's be realistic. You know what I'm saying? We may sell... maybe 100,000, maybe 150,000. You never know. But we have the money to do what we got to do because of artists like Young M.A. doing what she did. She sold 3 million.
I mean, yeah.
So her money goes into doing the new Smith & Wesson album, doing the new Black Moon album. You know what I'm saying? As a rec company, you have to sell records to create, you know what I'm saying, create money to fund your other projects. You know, it's like how when Eazy-E did Ruthless. Before he put out NWA, he put out JJ Fad.
Right.
And JJ Fad was not street hip hop. But he used that money to do the NWA stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all a business, and I get it. But if you come in, like your first impression means a lot. Like everybody, when Black Moon... All the older people think, as soon as they hear Black Moon, they think, who got the props? How many MCs? I Got You Open remix. Now, just imagine if we decided, we're not performing those records. We get no shows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's our legacy. You know, so you can't front on your legacy.
I wasn't meaning to ask this question, but when you're talking about the business side of things, especially with Duck Down, one thing that, and I've told a lot of people this. I mean, I've interviewed Smith & Wesson. I've interviewed Dan the Pro. I mean, I've interviewed Duck Down artists and Buckshot. And one thing that always gets me is the savviness of the business side of things. And like, I think Buckshot years ago once said to me, he's like, and he knew, like, he was recognizing record sales or not. That's not where you make your money. So you have to think outside the box. So if a Black Moon fork is going to sell you, you got to think like, sell the fork on, what is it about Duck Down Records that I guess educates its artists about, like, I mean, just so open and transparent about the business side of things. Like, is that, I mean, what is it about them that they do that?
Here's the thing. I didn't learn from Duck Down Records. I learned with
Duck Down. Okay.
What happened is, remember, me, Buck, and Five came in the business together. Then we grabbed Drew and Nervous. And when Duck Down was being built, I was standing right there handing them the bricks. In other words.
Right.
And that's how you look at it. Like, I learned by asking questions. Like, I spoke, I used to talk to Q-Tip. I used to talk to Latifah. Got arrested. I used to talk to Chris Lighty a lot. I asked 8 million questions. Like, I knew Q-Tip. I knew Tribe Called Quest before I was on. I used to always see Latifah and speak with her before she was on. Kid and Play and Wiz, DJ Wiz, who's down with them. I knew them before I was on. And I always asked a million questions. One thing about me is if I'm going to get into something, I have to know what I'm getting into. And I was always how does this work? Like, da-da-da-da. Like, the illest thing I heard was, and I'm not going to say the artist's name because I don't want to put her out there like that. It's a girl artist that I knew. She was in a girl group. And she, her record was popping. But she was working at a job. And I asked her, I said, why are you working a job right now? Your record's all over the radio.
Right.
You made it. She's like, you don't see no money right then and there. It's going to take time. And I'm like, but you're here.
Right.
Why? She was like, there's no money in music until you start touring. And when she said that to me, I'm looking and I'm like, I walked out of there and was listening to her record on the radio. So I was confused. Then when I asked, maybe it was Tip who I asked that. It was Tip or Jerobi or one of them. I said, what's up with that? And they was like, trust me, E. It's like, everyone thinks we're just millionaires. We're not millionaires yet. And when I got into the game, when we got to deal with Nervous, we didn't get no $1 million in cash. You know what I'm saying? If I remember, I think we got like 20 grand. And we had to split that with us 3. So, it was crazy.
Yeah. Well.
You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. Like, the whole thing was crazy. And artists do not make money selling records. But putting out a record opens up the gates for everything else. Unless you're selling millions of records, you're not making money selling records.
Right.
And then you got to also think this, too. How much money was spent to sell that million records?
Hard copies of records, not streams.
Well, back then it was hard copies.
Yeah, right. So
now with streaming's not even that much money. You know what I'm saying? You're not like Happy by Pharrell. That record was the biggest record when it was out. He got his streaming check. It was $4,000.
Amazing. Yeah.
And this is Pharrell we're talking about. We're not talking about underground artists. We're talking about Pharrell. $4,000? Like, the streaming, the only thing that, and I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it. The only thing that Trump ever said right was that has to be fixed. That's the only thing he ever said that I agree with him with. Everything else,
no.
I don't know that guy. But, streaming is like the worst. You know what I'm saying? If I had it my way, I wouldn't stream nothing. It would just be hard copies. But then I would lose people because there's a lot of people who don't buy hard copies. So it's like the gift and the sword.
Right. Was that the thing with streaming, is that it's either the people so you either stream the record and, I streamed the new Black Moon album. Mm-hmm. You get something, not much, obviously,
you get nickels.
Versus like, I'm not saying me, but like, the same person that's going to stream, if streaming's not available, they're just going to illegally download your album anyway, type thing. Is that kind of the struggle that artists today have to go through? Is either play the game and get the nickels, or don't play the game and get no money anyway. So
see, but here's another thing that a lot of people don't understand. Before we had the legal downloads, we had the legal recordings.
Right. Yeah.
And people would, I'm gonna go to my friend's house. Smitty got the Da 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 album. We're going to copy that cassette. We're going to be good. Mm-hmm. And there was always illegal ways to get music. But then what people also got to understand is this. How did hip-hop spread from New York to wherever? Someone copied the tape.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop was spread by bootlegs. And it's like with me, I have a love-hate relationship with bootlegs. Me, I want you to get the music. So you're going to get it however you're going to get it. But at the same time, I'm not, the music, it cost me money to do this music.
Right.
And I got to make my money back at least. Like one of the ideas I came up with is, and you know, I think I'm going to, you know, I'm not even going to say it here because I don't want nobody to take my idea, but I got an idea and it'll work out for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It'll definitely work out for everybody. I'll probably tell you off the air,
Okay,
but
cool.
you know.
I got you. I want to turn, I mean, speaking of ideas, you do, you know, you're not just creating albums or tracks or music. You're not just performing. You do Beatminez Internet Radio.
Yeah.
Why was that started? And can you kind of talk about what genres of music you guys play on that?
Okay. Well, Beatminez Radio, okay. www.beatminezradio.com started in you ready for this? 1996.
Wow.
The first online radio station is pseudo.com. Pseudo.com had a company, pseudo.com was the station. Then they had different channels. One of the channels they had was 88hiphop.com. 88 Hip Hop did the first hip hop radio. There was the first hip hop radio station. I was a producer for 88hiphop.com. And Randy, I'm trying to think of it. Randy told me, yo, you know, you should, you need to do Beatminez. And I was like, nah, that'll be corny. But then I thought about it, and I created Beatminez Radio at that time. And of course, when I created Beatminez Radio, I brought the family in. I was like, okay, you know, of course, Mr. Walt, I went to talk to Mr. Walt. Walt was like, that'll be perfect. And we put together our radio station people. You know what I'm saying? And we started doing radio back then. We did that until 2000. Now, at 2000, that's when the .com company started failing. Pseudo was one of those companies that crashed and burned. Because it was at one time Pseudo was making crazy dough. Then it just stopped. Around that time, we did Beatminez Radio offline, which was at WNWK, which at the time was 105.9. And we did it there. Then they sold their station. And when they sold their station, we stopped doing the radio for a minute. Then 2007, I was just fed up with the way that I was listening to radio and everything, how everything sounded.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? We need to put this back together again. And at that time, Maceo from De La Soul was on Ustream DJing. And he called me up. He said, yo, E, I want you to, you got to check this out. Yo, this is dope. We could do this. We could make money off of this. And he was like, yo, put Beatminez Radio on Ustream. And we did that. And, you know, at the time, we had a crew. You know, we had a radio crew, and we was all doing radio, and everything was good. Then it's like we just kept going from there and growing from there and growing and growing. To now, we got Beatminez Radio. We got the Beatminez Radio app. We play, you know, we're a hip-hop based station, but we play good music. We play everything. You know what I'm saying? We play, we play those old rock records, and you're like, yo, that's the joint. I remember that record. Like, our library is crazy. We play, like, Madonna. We play Rob Bass, DJ Easy Rock. We play Ekby and Rakim. We play J. Cole. We play, you know, but we don't play, like, we're not playing, like, the Hot 97 or Power 105 hip-hop.
Right.
We're playing more hip-hop, based hip-hop, you know. Like, we consider J. Cole a hip-hop artist.
Right, yeah.
You know, It's like there's cats out there that make the other hip hop music, and then you have like the J. Cole's and the rest of them.
Right.
You know,
right.
so it's what we do.
And is it all vinyl?
No, it's not all vinyl. I wish, but it's it's whatever format. But it's like we play whatever, and as long as it's dope, as long as it's good music, and it's been crazy. Like we have a nice listener fan base. Like believe it or not, we have a lot of listeners. We have a lot more listeners outside the United States than in the United States. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that? Why do you think that is? I mean, you go to. It's funny you talk to old hip hop heads. I mean, older than us, who are still doing it, and for different reasons, they obviously can't leave the United States for whatever. But you talk to them about their music, and they're selling huge overseas, like stuff like that. I mean, what is it about overseas that audience you think that kind of is attracted to the music you're doing?
Here's what it is, and this is what I tell everybody. All the records is hitting over here on the radio. They don't understand it. Remember, a lot of them don't speak English.
Right.
So if they don't understand, if they can't comprehend what you're doing, they're not going to mess with it. Mm-hmm. Like I remember going to Japan when Thong Song was out. Thong Song, when it was out over here, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a big record. Yo, the DJ threw on Thong Song and the floor cleared. And I said, yo, what the hell? What just happened? He said, yo, they don't understand it. They don't know what a thong is. I said, oh.
Interesting.
But that's what it is. Like, a lot of the big artists, what do you call it? A lot of the rap artists that are big out here, they're not big overseas.
Right.
They're not, because like I said, a lot of the people overseas don't understand it. Now with us, like with a group like us or whatever, they get it. Oh, there's a DJ in the group. He actually DJs. Like he's not just standing there making faces and waving his hand in the air. The MC, he goes back and forth, and he has a melodic flow. Like that's what they understand. Like a Black Moon. Like it's funny. Like I told somebody, I said, here's the crazy thing. Look at Speech from Arrested Development. Out here, can't get arrested. No one cares.
Right.
Speech, oh, he's old. He's washed. Go to Japan. He's selling out stadiums.
Right.
Speech. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because, and also they also cherish the music more than we do out here. Out here, we see it as, yeah, this is dope. Okay, next.
Right.
Out there, if something's dope, they keep it. That's why a Black Moon can go on tour overseas and live. And I always tell, one of the first things I tell artists is get a passport.
Right.
Like I tell any artist that messes with me, I'm like, yo, go get your passport, because it's going to be serious. Like one thing I'm happy to say, I travel and my passport is stamped out. I'm on my 7th passport.
Shit, damn. Nice.
You know what I'm saying? I've been in this game professionally for 26 years. And I'm on my 7th passport with extended pages.
Wow.
So I'm having fun.
You read up on you, talk to anybody about you and about the Beatminez and even Black Moon. And, they say right away they help define that New York kind of gritty hip hop sound, right? Mm-hmm. We look at kind of the technological advances of, turntables, digital music in general. Do you think that new hip hop music is now is really overly produced and is kind of getting away from that gritty sound?
Yes, I will say that. One thing I'll say is this. The technology we had back in the days, like the limits we had, that's why the music sounded the way it sounded. Now, what has to happen is this, and I will say this, and I hope people don't take it out of context. What we have to do as older artists, we have to embrace technology. We have to embrace what's going on with Pro Tools. You gotta embrace Pro Tools. Gotta embrace the new MPCs. Gotta embrace Machine. Because here's what's going on. If you don't, we will lose this thing we have called hip hop. It's just like DJing. People, don't deal with Serato. Don't mess with that. Don't use CDJs. Here's the situation. They don't make vinyl like they used to. So now you're a DJ and you're stuck in a genre because you don't have the records.
Right. Oh, so you're saying like they don't press the vinyl?
Nah,
yeah.
Not for a lot of stuff.
Right.
So, and if they do press the vinyl, it's mad dough.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
So, and then me as a traveling DJ that DJs around the world, yo, it's so convenient. I don't have to carry my crates. You know how many records I've lost DJing? I've lost crates of records DJing. You know, but now everything's with me. And the 45 thing is dope. And like, even with myself, I rock the 45s. And that's something I've done before. But at the end of the day, I embrace technology because I want to grow and I want to be one of those dudes that, like, even though I use technology, my stuff still sounds the same. It's not really, believe it or not, it's not a piece of equipment that you shouldn't rely on a piece of equipment. You should rely on your mind.
Right.
Because your mind is the creative process that makes what's going on. That helps you create what's going on. And it's like, yo, like everybody tells me, you need to go back to that SB1200 sound. I would love to, but here's the thing. They don't fix the SB1200s like they used to. I have 2 left, and I'm not trying to kill those 2 and be out of an SB1200.
Right.
Like, and I get it. People love that old sound. And with me, with this new album, we're giving you that old sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, we took it back a little bit, but we recorded on Pro Tools.
Right.
Because, after a while, like, after doing something for a while, you get used to it.
Right. You're not, like, taping your knobs and then leaving and being, no one touches this shit, I'll kill you.
Yeah, that was back in the day. Like, I remember days of D&D, like, we'd spend 10 hours mixing a record and be like, all right, you know what, we'll come back in the morning, tape the board up, put a sign, don't touch these damn knobs. Like, and then doing a recall back then when somebody did touch the knobs. We never got it back the same way, ever.
Speaker, I want to turn to Black Moon. This is my understanding. The original 3, where you're MC5,
550.
550, Fista,
550. Finsta, 550, Buckshot, and myself.
So Buckshot was a part of the original group?
Yes.
Okay.
When we started Black Moon, yes.
But my understanding is also is it true that he was actually more of a dancer prior to rhyming?
Yeah.
Or
Him and Five and Finsta used to dance.
So what was... So the Buckshot we hear, well, even on the first album, but today... how different was it when you guys all first got together in terms of his rhyme skills pattern?
He's gotten better. Like when I first met him, he rhymed one way. Then he kind of changed, and like you heard the first change. Who Got the Props is the second wave. Then How Many MCs is the third wave. When he was doing, put it like this, when he met Steel, when him and Steel sat down, his whole style started changing. He was influenced by Steel. Like, Steel is like the dude, Steel from Swift & Wesson, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, is like, that dude is like the brainchild. Like, that dude is the smart dude, and the whole thing is he influenced Buckshot when we was doing Enter the Stage. And, but yeah, like Buck, when he first came through, he was just on some da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, and then he just grew up. Remember, we all was young at the time, right, too. Five still rhymes the same way he rhymed before. You know what I'm saying? Like, Five is just rugged and raw. Finsta, when he was with us, he rhymed one way. Then when he left the group, him and Bundy got together and made Finsta Bundy. And they was like I call them the B-side dudes because their records sound like our B-side records. but they're dope. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
It's dope. Like, they're dope. They created a whole niche for themselves. They're not under that Black Moon umbrella. Mm-hmm. You know, they have their own sound. They have their own way. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope. I've seen
you guys a few times, but then I remember I saw Buckshot at totally slipping on whatever. Totally slipping. And Governor's Island.
Rock the Bells?
Rock the Bells, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember my favorite thing about watching him perform is that he's not that guy, like, kind of running back and forth, jumping up and down. It's kind of like that guy, just like kind of like a Rakim type thing, where he's just like, you know, I remember him standing on one of the speakers and just like spitting, and it seems effortlessly. Is that what's the process for you guys? I mean, from the first album, in terms of creating a beat, writing stuff, like, how does that work? And is it like I mean, you guys just sound effortlessly when you do it. Is it just one of those things you just put it on and he just starts spitting, or he starts spitting, you just, you know, make a beat around him? It depends.
Like this, I could talk about this album because being at this is now. What happens is I'll play some beats for him, and him and Five will listen to it, and they'll be like, "Yo, this is dope," and they'll sit down in their corners and write. Sometimes Buck will pre-write something and start like a pre-written, and then just continue writing it to the beat. Then it's like, you know, while they're doing that, I'm sitting down with headphones on, creating more beats while they're writing. And then by the time they finish writing that, I'll play them whatever I created, and they'll go, "Yo, that's dope. Nah, I don't like that. That's dope. I don't like that." And that's how we did this whole album. This whole album was a combined effort of me just making beats. Like, we did it we did shit in the same room. Instead of doing it where I'm in the corner, I'm over at my house, he's over at his house, and Five's at his house. Nah, we all got together because that's where we come from. You know, all our stuff was created in the same room. We only had one album where it was kind of created where I was at home, they was at, you know, and the album is dope, but it's not my favorite Black Moon album. And that's the Total Eclipse album. But, you know, we created everything together. And I would just make beats. Sometimes Buck would come in and go, "Y'all got an idea for a record." And then I'll create from that idea, you know. But it's mostly he writes to the beats that I give him.
I imagine, you know, as a DJ, you know your artists really well. So there's, and you know that your artist's voice is an instrument, you know. Is there an instrument that, or sound that kind of just won't work if you put it on a kind of a Black Moon record?
A ukulele. I think a harmonica wouldn't work neither. I don't know, but if Stevie Wonder, you know, it might work if Stevie Wonder's playing it.
Yeah, he'll make it work.
But ukulele, I can't see, or banjo.
Doesn't know.
No, I can't see him rock to a banjo.
I got two more questions for you.
No problem.
I appreciate your time. The first question is, what's the favorite part of what you do for you? Like, why do you love what you do?
You know what's my favorite part, believe it or not? Creating. I like the creating part because I could sit back and just be like, "Yo, let me experiment with this. Let me experiment with that." Like, one thing with me, like, I like this album. I'm experimenting with frequencies, highs, mids, lows, subs, and what I'm doing is every Black Moon record that's on this album has different frequencies. So when you listen to it in different systems, you're gonna hear different things. Like, and then the subs, you don't hear them at all; you just feel them. So if you're at a club and they throw in a new Black Moon record, you're gonna feel this bass like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" You know. But it's like that's my whole thing. Like a lot of people nowadays, they don't concentrate on frequencies; they just concentrate on loud.
Right.
We gotta make this album loud, son. And it's like, you know, my whole thing is creating an album. We buy $400 headphones to listen to music that sounds like trash. Like, I want to make something, when you put it in your car, you're like, whoa, it sounds like a movie.
Right, you hear that. Yeah.
You know? And like that's my whole thing. I like that creative process. You know, I've always wanted to make records like that, and I've done some records like that, but now this is my first time doing a whole album like that. You know, so creative part is my favorite.
That's dope. So my last question. So I've probably memorized the Adventures of Slick Rick by heart. I could put it on the tape. I'll rap to the whole entire thing. As a 11-year-old doing Treat Like a Prostitute, probably a bad thing, and I think my mom did not hear that. I think I could spit the entire Self-Destruction song, and my kind of go-to album, and it doesn't help that streaming services are available, is DMX's It's Dark as Hell is Hot.
Yeah.
Especially when you're walking through Penn Station, it gets you in the zone. So for you, which is like the album that if someone puts it on, you could probably spit the entire album. The song that you don't need anyone to put any on, and you could spit that song, and then the album that's kind of like your go-to, get the hell away from the album.
Okay. The Get the Hell Away From Me album is Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
Nice.
Album that I probably I know from front to back is Off the Wall, Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, that's dope.
And what was the other one?
That one song that you could kind of, you don't need anybody to play it. You could just kind of sing it or spit it.
Papa Don't Take No Mess.
Nice.
James Brown.
That's dope.
Yep.
Wow. Black Moon album coming out soon.
Hopefully June. Hopefully June. I'll say June, July.
June, July. Nice.
Yeah.
Evil Dee, The Beatminez, Black Moon, Legend, Bushwick resident. Thanks so much for joining me in the library with Tim Einenkel. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Cool.
I'm finally glad to be here.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad it worked out. Thank you so much for doing this again, man.
No doubt. It's all cool.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a Realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide. Because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries, plus napkins, plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.